See this. We have to find out minimal cover, or we are saying canonical cover. Either we will say minimal cover or its name is canonical cover or minimal cover. So what is happening in this? In minimal cover, suppose this is the table given to us, ABC. This is table given to us, in R A B C D E or something is there. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Like that, this is our minimal cover. Minimal cover condition. What is minimal cover? In minimal cover, there should be there are three conditions for the minimal cover. First condition is singleton RHS. That means right hand side should be single. Second condition is no extraneous LHS attribute. No extraneous means left hand side there should not be any extra attribute. Right hand side there should be a single attribute, singleton at RHS, no extraneous LHS attribute. That means suppose there are two attributes. If one attribute is extra, we have to remove that attribute at the left side. And no redundant FDs. Third condition is FDs should not be repeated. That means no redundant FDs should be there. In first condition, I am saying that suppose this table is given to us. This is our question. R, A, B, C, D, E, and these are functional dependencies given to us. Now we have to find out minimal cover of this. So what was our first condition? Only single RHS must be there. Right hand side must be single RHS. So we are using our first condition for the singleton in RHS. That means single in right hand side. In this right hand side is single, that is D. In this BC, in this case BC is at left side and right hand side is AD. That means there are two attributes at the right hand side, A and D. Now what I am saying that how many attributes should be in right hand side? There should be just one attribute at the right hand side, and here it is two attributes at the right hand side. So we have to separate these attributes. That means I will write AD same as it is, and in BC AD there are two attributes at the right hand side. So we will convert it into a single attribute, that is BC tends to A and BC tends to D. That means we will make two functional dependency from it, BC tends to A and BC tends to D. It is clear to all of you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I am saying that if there are two attributes at the right hand side, we have to break that. That means BC tends to A and BC tends to D. So I have written here BC tends to A and BC tends to D. And other attributes are written same as it is. C tends to B, E tends to A, and E tends to D, because there was only one functional dependency in which there were two attributes at the right hand side. We have separated both the attributes of the right hand side. So now there is no functional dependencies of that. If there is more functional dependencies of that, we will repeat same process for that also. Suppose if here it was two attributes, suppose the AD is given, then what we will do? E tends to A, E tends to D. If there are two attributes, three attributes at the right hand side, we will separate all these attributes. In the second case, now our first case is solved. There is no functional dependency which is having two attributes in the right side. There was only one functional dependency which was having right hand side two attributes. So we have solved that. We have made at right side only one attribute, and we have broken this functional dependency into two functional dependencies, BC tends to A and BC tends to D. Now our second condition is no extraneous left hand side. That means in left hand side there should, if there is two attributes in, first of all I have checked for right hand side. Now I am doing same thing for the left hand side. I am checking for the attribute, but if there is two attributes in the left hand side, we want to check it whether extra attribute is that, or that is very much required attribute. If extra attribute is there at the left hand side, we will remove it. If required attribute is there at the left hand side, we will keep it. Okay, there are two, means we have to decide whether at left hand side we have to decide whether we have to keep both the attributes or we have to remove the attribute. That means suppose A tends to D, there is only one attribute at the left side. In this case, there are two attributes at the left side, B and C. So we have to check. So what we have to do? We have to check. We have to check whether extra attribute is this or this is required attribute. So what we will do, in left side there are two attributes B and C. So we will find closure of B and we will find the closure of C. When we find the closure of B, from B where I can go, we will see the functional dependency from here. From B where we can go, from B I can reach to B, but from B I can reach to anywhere else? No, I cannot reach from B to anywhere else. So I have done this. From C, I will check the closure of C. C I have checked, and from C I can reach to C, and from C I can reach to B. So B I have written, and from BC I can reach to D. So D I have written, and from BC I can reach to A. So A I have written. So I have found the closure of C. Now I have checked in B closure, if I have found the B closure, whether the C is coming in B closure or not. That means first of all, I have checked the closure of B. I have checked the closure of B. I will check in that closure whether the pairing attribute which was C, that is coming in this or not. Not. It is not coming. Then I will check the closure of C, whether its paired attribute B is coming or not. So its paired attribute in B is coming over here. So what I will do this. So what I will do. So in this case, what I will do, if there is such type of attribute, so this include B, so we can eliminate B. That means if from C I can reach to B, so I can eliminate B from this. That means we will find the closure of both B and C. In B closure, if C is coming here, yeah, C closure, B is coming here. That means from C we can reach to B. So there is no need of B over here. So I have separated, I have deleted B from here. If C closure B is coming, then I will delete B from here. So I have written here A tends to D and B I have deleted because in C closure B came. C closure I found, I got the B. This B I got in C closure. So I will remove B from here and I will write here C tends to A, BC tends to D and C tends to B. All thing I have written here. Rest of the. Now I will check next. This I have solved. This one I have solved. There was CB tends to A. I have removed B. Now next functional dependency BC tends to D. Now I will check again the closure of B. I got B from this closure. From B I can just reach to B, and from B I cannot reach to anywhere else. Now C closure I will check. In C closure I have checked. It is C. From C I can reach to C, and from C I can reach to A, and from C I can reach to B, from C I can reach to B, and from BC I can reach to D. So I have written here. Now again in C closure B came, so that means B can be removed from this. B can be removed from this. I will just write A tends to D, C tends to A, and C tends to D. And all the attribute I will write same functional dependency. Now there is no, now all the left hand side is removed. See, only in that condition you will remove the left hand side attribute when in one of closure of left side, if other one is coming. If it is not coming, we have to keep that. Means it is not necessary to make left hand side only single attribute. If we can do that, if we will find, if suppose there are two attributes at the left hand side, we will find closure of both the attribute. If any one of the attribute we are getting other one, then we will remove it. Otherwise, we will keep it same as it. Now what is happening? Third one. Third thing is we have to find out the redundant FD, whether there are repeated FDs or not. Our third condition. In third condition, we have to find out the repeated case. So I will check here. I will check here. I will A tends to D. I will find out whether this FD is repeated one or not. So what I will do, I will find the closure of left hand side, that is A, and closure of left hand side, that is C, and closure of this C, and closure of everything like this we will find. First of all, I am finding for three of them. A, C, and C. These three closure I will find over here. From A, I will not see this one. Suppose I am finding the closure of this one, then I will not see this FD and I will check out. From A, I can reach to A. From A, I can reach to anywhere else. No. Because I will not check which closure I am finding. I will not check that one. And I will check rest of the. That means A closure I will find and I will not do anything. I will find here from A I can reach to anywhere else. No, I cannot reach. If I am not getting D, that means in this closure, I am finding the closure of A left hand side and I am not getting my right hand side. That means we have to keep it. That means I have to keep this. It is not redundant FD. Next thing I will check here, C closure I will find and I will check here from C. I will not check this one now. Now I will not see this one. I will see all rest of the FDs. And I will see here from C I can reach to C, and from C I can reach to D, and from C I can reach to D, and anywhere I can else go. Anywhere else I can read? No. So I have written this, and now what I found, I have not got A. That means C closure I was finding, and I did not get A in its closure. So we have to keep it. It is not repeated FD. Now next, this one I have found from C where I can reach. I will not see this one, and I will find the closure from rest of the FDs, and I got CADB. In this case, from C closure I found, and I got D. That means right hand side. I have found the C closure and I got my right hand side over in the closure. That means D comes in it, which is right hand side. That means this is repeated attribute. So we have to eliminate C tends to D. That means this FD I will eliminate from set of the FDs. I will delete this FD. If I get in this left hand side closure, I got my right hand side, then I will complete this FD. And now what will happen? Again, I have taken all the FDs. I have deleted that C tends to D FD, and I have taken all the FDs. Till here, I have already checked C tends to D. I have already checked. Now the other three FDs I am checking: C, E, and E. That means the place where you will find, we have to delete the FD. That from that place we will delete that FD, and we will keep all else FDs over here. Now C tends to B I got. I'll again find the closure. C closure I will found, and CAD I get. That means I did not put B. So we have to keep this FD. It is not redundant FD. E closure I have found. I did not got A from its closure, so I have to keep it. Now E closure I will found, and I will see this D came in this closure. So what I will do, right hand side came in this closure, so I will delete this FD. Now I will show minimal cover is. So what is the minimal cover in this case? The remaining FD, A tends to D, C tends to A, C tends to B, E tends to A, and this will be deleted. So all these four FDs are our redundant FDs or are our minimal cover. So this is the answer for minimal cover. Do you got it? Or you are having any problem?
Yes,
I can explain you again.
No,
So you got it? Now I am going to
Yes.
explain you. Now I'm going to explain you what is 4NF. In fourth normal form, till third NF I have already taught you, till BCNF I have already taught you. Now I'm going to teach you about 4NF, fourth normal form. That means in fourth normal form there are two conditions. First condition is that must be in boycott normal form. That means the FD should be in BCNF. the relation should be in Bicort normal form, then only we can go for 4NF. And in 4NF, multi-value dependency should not be there. See, in BCNF, single BCNF is said to be 0% redundant FD because there is all the single value dependency, all the single value dependency is removed after we are going for normalization and we are finding the table into BCNF normal form. That means all single value dependencies are normalized. But that is why it is also BCNF is also set 0% redundant. Okay? After this, single value dependency is already removed. But 410F, if there should not be no multi-value dependency should be there. If we want to find the table in 4NF, no multi-value dependency should be there. So what is happening in first NF? Now I will show you. Suppose this is table. This one is table. Smith, P name, X, E name, P name, and D name, dependent name. Employee name, P name, and dependent name. So I am seeing here if there are two or more than two multi-value dependency, then it is not table is not in NF, 4NF. So I have seen here employee name, from one employee name Smith, I can get two values of P name. That means Smith, from Smith I got X, from Smith I got Y. Okay, so P name is more than two P name is dependent on single Smith. More than two P name.
सर आवाज सही से नहीं आ रहा है सर.
I'm saying that more than two P name, that is X and Y. More than two P name, that is X and Y, is dependent on Smith. That means
Yes, sir.
more than two values
Yes.
are dependent on single value. That means E name and P name, there is a relation of 1:n. That means on one Smith, more than one value of P name is dependent. So there is relation between E name, P name, 1:n. Now another entity, if I will see from E name to D name, Smith and John. And from Smith, I also get Anna. That means more than two D name are dependent on E name. That means E name and D name is having relation 1:n. Okay. Now, if there are two, that means this
Yes.
theory question is coming in your exam. Okay. So I'm saying that if there is more than
Yes, sir.
two or more than two such type of dependencies are there, then that table is not in 4NF. That means multi-value dependency is present in that table. Suppose single, this one will remain. If E name P name is having 1:n, that means it is not multi-value dependency. But when E name D name also having the same problem, okay? That means two or more than two dependencies are having multi-value dependency value. That means that table is not in 4NF. So what I have to do, I have to separate the table into two tables. That means E name and P name one table, E name P name one table, and E name D name another table. So this table will be broken into two tables: E name P name and E name D name. In one table E name P name and second table E name D name. So I have divided that table into two tables: E name P name one table and E name department name dependent name another table. So I have written this value. Now the redundancy has been removed, and these two tables now came into 4NF. So E name, P name, department name, and for multi-value dependency, we are denoting it by sign of double arrow. That means one arrow and second arrow. Now, what is fifth normal form? In fifth normal form, we are using joint dependency. Okay, joint dependency we are using. Suppose there are n number of tables and we are relations and we are using joint dependency. If the relation if the relation schema R specify a constant on the state R of R, every legal state R of non-additive joint decomposition. Which type of decomposition? If suppose n tables are given and we are joining all the tables, then we should get non-additive joint decomposition. That means lossless joint decomposition. That means there should not be any additive joint decomposition. That means it should be lossless joint decomposition. Then only table can be in 5NF. Suppose this table is given to us and this table is broken into number of 3 tables. Now I have to find out which type of decomposition is this one. Suppose we are adding all the tables. Suppose we are joining all the table. These 2 tables, first of all, I am joining S1 P1, S1 R1. That means from S1 P1 and R1. S1 P1 and R1 I got. S1 P1, this is common S1 S1. So I got S1 P1 R1. In second, I got S1 P1 S1 R2. That means S1 P1 and R2. It is additive joint. That means in original table, if I will see in original table S1 P1 R2, S1 P1 R2 I got after joining these 3 tables, but in original table there were no S1 P1 and R2. There is no S1 P1 and R2 in original table. So this addition row came in this. That means it is lossy joint decomposition. It is not lossless joint decomposition. That means it is not in 5NF. Now what is happening?
Yes,
there is condition for 5NF. There are 2 conditions for 5NF. The table should present in 4NF. Then only we can go for 5NF. If joint dependency does not exist, it is in 5NF. If joint decomposition exists, that means if we join all the tables and we are getting lossless joint decomposition. I already taught you lossy joint decomposition. If we are joining the table and if it is lossy joint decomposition, then it is in 5NF. That means it is lossless joint decomposition, then it is in 5NF, otherwise it is not in 5NF. As if joint dependency exists. If tribal joint dependency exists, that means if joint dependency exists, if tribal joint dependency exists in 5NF, if tribal joint what is tribal joint decomposition I already explored now. What is tribal and what are non-tribal? In first class I already explained. So I am saying that if it is tribal joint dependency, then table is in 5NF. All Ri is super key. If left side is super key, if left side of the functional dependency is super key, then table is in 5NF. Then it is in 5NF. If left side one, suppose I am saying A tends to B, and if A is our super key, then that is in 5NF. Left side attribute is super key, then table is in 5NF. Otherwise, table is not in 5NF. These are the conditions for 5NF. And this is canonical cover. If you want to study more, I can teach you equality method. If you want this one, I can teach you. Otherwise, I can stop over here. Do you got
Okay,
this?
sir.
Now, equality functional dependency. Suppose I want to check whether both are equal or not. That means suppose 2 functional dependencies there. We want to check it whether F functional dependency and G functional dependencies are given there. And if I want to check both the functional dependencies are equal or not. If we want to check the functional dependency is equal or not, we have to find the cover of that one. We have to find out the cover. That means suppose this is given to us. Now F functional dependency and G functional dependency is given to us. I want to find out that whether F is equal to G or not. Whether all these functional dependency equal to these functional dependencies or not. That means F is equal to G or not. So I will find G cover F and F cover G. Then we can say F is equal to G. Now here I have taken F and G, both the functional dependencies I have taken here. and from G1, from G wala, see, this is functional dependency of this one. A tends to BC. Now I will check it from this. That means I will take the functional dependency from this and I will find the closure from this. I will check the functional dependency of this. Now time is over. Now I will teach you transaction after this. Okay, now I am saying that we will check the functional dependency of this one. A, B, C I have included it to find out the closure, and I will find closure from this table. So A tends to BC I have taken from this table, and I am going to find out the closure from this table. And I found the closure from this table. This table ABC I have taken here, and A closure, left side closure I am finding from this one. So I find out from A I can reach to B, and from AB I can reach to C, and that means I got ABC. That means I got the attribute which was in right hand side BC, and BC I got after finding the closure from this one. So that means F वाले से closure find करेंगे. That means we will find the closure from F1. And now similar way I will find out D. So I have taken here D tends to AE, D tends to AE, and I will find the closure from this one. From D I can reach to D, from D I can reach to AC, and from AC from D I can reach to E also, and from A and elsewhere, whatever closure is coming, I have to find out. I have to take functional dependency from this, and I have to find out closure from here. So I found the closure. In this closure, I got AE. That means I got AE. That means it is F covered G. That means F is covering G. Now same method I have to repeat. I have to take all the functional dependencies from here, and I will find the closure from this one. So similar way, I've done this. If G is cover F, I've taken the closure from above table A tends to B, and I found the closure from second one. I have taken the closure this one A tends to B, and I'm finding closure from this one. A closure I'm finding from this one. In the similar way, I will find AB closure from this one. In similar way, I will find the D closure from this one. And if all the closure I'm getting, whatever is in right side, I'm getting that one, that means it is covering G. F is covering the G. If both are covering each other, that means F is equal to G. If both are covering each other, in similar way, I found AB closure, and I am getting AB tend to C, and I found the closure, and I got C in it. Okay? So that means it is, and DAC, and I found the closure, and I'm getting whatever is in the right side AC. So I can say that both of these are equal. Okay? Now today class is over, and I will start tomorrow class, means next class from transaction. Your normalization topic is over. Each and everything
Okay,
I already taught you in normalization.
Sir, exam hoga?
I'm not having any idea regarding that. Okay, actually I'm stopping sharing this. I am stopping recording also.
Yes, sir.